Hi, I'm Jackie Polisi, Family Safety Advocate for Montlick & Associates. On behalf of our firm and all of the other sponsors, we applaud your decision to be here today. Learning to become a good, safe driver takes time and a serious commitment on your part. The work you do here will help protect you for a lifetime. While we're waiting for today's program to begin, we thought we'd share some of our firm's own driver safety tips. These are public service videos that we have televised across the state to help make our Georgia roadways safer for everyone. We encourage you to become an ambassador for good teen driving by sharing the information you learned today with your friends. All of the videos and guides you are about to see can be shared very easily via email, Facebook, and Twitter by logging onto our website at montlick.com. You can also stop by our booth to take home hard copies of our driver safety guides, as well as our Georgia Accident Checklist, which our attorney will review with you later today. We hope you never need to use it, but if you do, it's a really helpful guide to keep in the glove box of your car. You can also access the checklist on your smartphone through Montlick Mobile, our free accident help app, available in the iPhone and Android app stores. Again, on behalf of all of us from Montlick & Associates, thank you for your time and commitment to safe driving. Have a great day today.
At Montlick & Associates, we see all too often the consequences of drinking while driving.
Devastating consequences that could be avoided. For safety's sake, please don't drink and drive.
A public service of Montlick & Associates.
Two minutes of information, entertainment, and events in Atlanta and beyond. This is the Daily 2.
Hi, I'm Shannon Walsh. Joining me is Jackie Polisi, Family Safety Advocate from Montlick & Associates. Jackie, we all know that texting while driving is a dangerous practice and now against the law in the state of Georgia. However, many people are still texting behind the wheel. Can you remind our viewers of the new law and penalties involved?
Absolutely. Texting on a wireless telecommunications device while operating a vehicle is prohibited. That means no reading, typing, or sending text messages. Drivers are not permitted to touch the keypad or look at the text screen. The law applies to all drivers, regardless of age, driving on public roads and highways, even those stopped at a red light or waiting in a turn lane.
What is the penalty for texting while driving?
According to the Georgia Department of Public Safety, the fine for violation is set by statute at $150 and 1 point on the driver's record. However, the greatest penalty could be loss of life. Texting while driving is a deadly practice that endangers yourself, passengers, and all others on the road. To help remind drivers, Montlick & Associates is airing this public safety message throughout the state.
At Montlick & Associates, we see all too often the consequences of texting while driving. Devastating consequences that could be avoided. For safety's sake, please don't text and drive. A public service of Montlick & Associates.
Jackie, getting a driver's license is an exciting time for a teen, yet auto accidents are the leading killer of young people. So it's a nerve-wracking time for parents.
Yes, Shannon. That's why TADRA, the Teenage and Adult Driver Responsibility Act, is such an important law. Study has proven that TADRA does save lives.
And yet most parents know very little about it. Jackie, what should parents know?
TADRA is a graduated driver's licensing program that requires young drivers ages 15 to 18 to follow a specific 3-step process. Step 1 is an instructional permit issued to 15-year-olds once they pass a written exam. Step 2 is a Class D intermediate license granted to drivers 16 to 18 who have held an instructional permit for 12 months and who pass an on-road driving test. Step 3 is a full Class C license granted to drivers 18 or older who meet these criteria.
And Jackie, each step has its own set of driver restrictions, correct?
Yes, Shannon. As one example, Class D teen drivers are not allowed to drive between midnight and 6 a.m. under any circumstances. There are penalties in place if they do.
Viewers, Montlick & Associates has created this Parent's Guide to TADRA to help you understand the many aspects of this important law. For your free copy, just log on to mottlick.com and click on Family Safety and Legal Tips. Joining us is Jackie Polisi, family safety advocate from Mottlick & Associates, for part 2 in our series on TADRA, the Teenage and Adult Driver Responsibility Act. Jackie, last week you gave an overview of TADRA's 3-step licensing process for teens. This week we discussed the specific restrictions that TADRA places on drivers 15 to 18 and why it's so important for parents to know them.
Yes, Shannon. TADRA is designed to reduce the risk of teen driver accidents and fatalities. And there's proof that it works, but it must be understood and followed to be effective.
What are some restrictions, Jackie?
Here's an example for Class D license holders. Class D is an intermediate license granted to teens who have held an instructional permit for 12 months and have passed a driving test. Other than immediate family members, Class D drivers have the following passenger restrictions. During the first 6 months, you are not permitted any passengers. In the next 6 months, you are limited to 1 passenger under 21. After a year, you can have up to 3 passengers under 21, but no more. And an important restriction for all Class D drivers, regardless of how long you have been driving, no driving from midnight to 6 a.m., period. No exceptions. It's important for parents to know all the rules so they can help teens comply. That's why we created this Parents Guide to TADRA.
Parents, to help keep your teens safe on the road, go to mottlick.com today and get your copy of the firm's Parents Guide to TADRA. Jackie, Georgia has joined a growing number of states in enacting a move-over law. Yet a recent poll indicates that more than 70% of people are unaware of this law. What do viewers need to know?
Georgia's move-over law was designed to reduce the number of injuries and fatalities to police officers, paramedics, firefighters, and Department of Transportation employees while working. The law requires all drivers to move over 1 lane away from the side of the road where an emergency or law enforcement vehicle is stopped, as long as it is safe to do so.
And if it is not safe to do so?
If it is not safe to move over to the next lane, drivers must slow down and be prepared to stop.
The move-over law also protects drivers who are pulled over by police or who are being administered to by the paramedics or other emergency responders.
Yes, that's right. Georgia's move-over law is really designed to make our highways safer for everyone, but it must be understood and adhered to in order to be effective. When moving over, drivers should remember to always check mirrors for other vehicles, including any blind spots, and to use turn signals and allow sufficient space when making the lane change.
Jackie, most people realize that drunk driving and distracted driving are extremely risky and dangerous. But what about the risk of driving while drowsy or sleepy?
Driver fatigue poses a much bigger threat than most people realize. In a recent AAA survey, 4 out of 10 drivers admitted to falling asleep at least one time. And NHTSA data says that 1 out of every 6 driver deaths involves some type of driver fatigue.
This is a more serious issue than people realize.
That's why we can't stress this enough. If you are too tired to drive, please pull over and rest. Change drivers if you are able. When driving, be especially careful if you've taken any medication that could make you drowsy. Even certain cough syrups and cold remedies can make you too drowsy to drive safely.
Jackie, a lot of us drive when we're tired. How do you know when tired turns into too tired?
Here are some clear indicators: frequent blinking or yawning, inability to focus on the roadway, lapses in concentration, feeling your head drop, and drifting or difficulty keeping a steady path in your own lane. If you experience any of these, please pull over and change drivers or take a rest before continuing any further.
Jackie, this is another great safety reminder for our drivers here in Georgia. Thank you so much. This week's topic is tire safety.
Yeah, many drivers don't realize that a simple tire safety check can help prevent accidents and avoid breakdowns.
And help get better mileage as well.
Here are two important steps recommended by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. First, because tires lose air naturally over time, it's important to check the pressure at least once a month, including the spare. A tire can lose 40% of its air and still look normal, so to be certain, you need to use a tire pressure gauge. Next, inspect the treads each month. The easiest way to check is to insert a penny into the grooves. Lincoln's head goes in first. If part of the head is covered by the tread level is sufficient. If the tread doesn't cover Lincoln's head, it's time to replace that tire.
So Jackie, what other precautions should drivers take?
You know, a jolt from a pothole or from bumping a curb can throw off your front end alignment and affect the way your car handles, so be sure to have your alignment checked out regularly by a professional. Another safe practice is to rotate your tires on a regular basis. That promotes more uniform wear and will help give your tires a longer life.
Good advice. Thank you, Mottlick and Associates, for helping to keep us safe on the road. With me is Jackie Polisi, family safety advocate from Mottlick and Associates, with some important information on what to do during a tire blowout.
Having your tire blow out is a scary and dangerous situation. Knowing what to do and what not to do will help you take control of the situation.
It's so easy to panic in a situation like that.
If your tire does blow out, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration recommends you take the following actions. Do not step on the brake. It can be your first instinct, but it is the worst mistake you can make. Applying the brakes will cause an even greater imbalance in vehicle stability. Also, do not abruptly release your foot from the gas pedal. That causes the vehicle to transfer more weight from rear tires to front tires and can lead to greater loss of control.
So two things not to do. Do not immediately brake and do not stop accelerating.
Correct. Now, here are three things you should do. Gradually release the gas pedal. Correct the steering to help regain control. Look where you want to go and steer in that direction. Once your vehicle has stabilized, continue to slow down. Pull off the side of the road as soon as you determine that it's safe to do so.
Viewers, this is important, life-saving advice. The firm's guide on what to do during a tire blowout is available now at the Mottlick and Associates website. There are links there too, so you can easily share it with family members and friends through email, Facebook, or Twitter. Car rollovers are one of the deadliest types of accidents, accounting for 1/3 of passenger vehicle fatalities each year. Jackie, what causes rollovers and what can drivers do to avoid them?
According to the National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration, 95% of single vehicle rollovers are caused by tripping. Tripping occurs when a vehicle leaves the roadway and slides sideways, digging its tires into soft soil or striking an object such as a curb or guardrail.
Jackie, what should a driver do in that situation?
The first thing is to not panic. Panicking can lead to overcorrecting or excessive steering, causing the driver to lose control and the vehicle to slide sideways and roll over. To prevent a rollover from happening, make sure to reduce speed gradually. Then, when it's safe to do so, ease your vehicle back onto the roadway. Another preventative measure is to avoid driver distractions that can cause you to veer inadvertently off the road. And inspect tires regularly for tread level and proper inflation. Tires that are worn out or partially inflated will affect your ability to control your car. And we would like to remind everyone to please always wear your seat belts. It's such a simple step to take to prevent injuries and save lives.
Commercial trucks are the lifeline for so many businesses today and key to a thriving, healthy economy. But these trucks are also involved in the most catastrophic of all road accidents.
Yes, Shannon. A vehicle that weighs 80,000 pounds and is up to 75 feet long can be highly lethal, especially in underride accidents or other collisions with cars that typically weigh only 3,000 pounds. In most cases, the occupants of the car will suffer life-altering injuries or death. While most truck drivers are responsible, conscientious drivers, their grueling delivery schedules can often lead to driver fatigue.
And there are other dangers like falling debris or explosions from hazardous cargo.
Yes, that is why it is so important to take extra precautions. Always leave extra space between you and the truck. When changing lanes at highway speeds, the average truck needs 700 feet. That's the length of 2.5 football fields. Never speed up when being passed. Instead, stay to the right and slow down slightly. This will get you out of the truck's blind spot faster.
Any other tips, Jackie?
When following a truck, if you can't see their mirrors, it means the driver probably can't see you. So slow down to create more space. And since trucks create wind gusts, be sure to keep both hands on the wheel when passing or being passed.
Smart advice, Jackie. Viewers, Montlick & Associates has created this guide, plus many others that you can download and share right from their website. The first concern after an auto accident is the physical well-being of those involved. But once the medical issues are addressed, what advice do your attorneys have for dealing with property damage issues?
When someone is in a car accident, there is almost always a disabled, damaged, or totaled vehicle involved. The at-fault driver or his insurance company is responsible for the cost of repairs, plus a rental car while your car is being repaired. If your car is totaled, you have the right to compensation for the value of your vehicle.
Is there other compensation for property damage, Jackie?
Yes, in Georgia car crashes, you have the right to compensation for other property damages. Damage to clothes or jewelry that you were wearing at the time of the accident, for example, or items such as laptops, cell phones left in your car. You also have the right to be compensated for the diminished value of your car. This is in addition to the cost of repairs. It covers the depreciation in the value of your car caused by the accident. For example, even after it is repaired, a car with frame damage will never be worth the same as it was before the accident.
So filing a diminished value claim will compensate you for this loss?
Yes, it's a lesser known aspect of the law, but one our attorneys deal with routinely.
Thank you, Jackie. Viewers, for your free consultation with one of Montlick & Associates' experienced attorneys, just call 1-800-LAW-NEED or visit montlick.com and use the firm's free online case evaluation form or 24-hour live online chat.
At Montlick & Associates, we hope you're never in an accident. But if you were, would you know what to do? That's why we've created Montlick Mobile, a free app for your Droid or iPhone that helps you after an accident. With Montlick Mobile, you can call 911 with a tap, locate the nearest emergency center, capture accident facts and photos, and much, much more. It's always good to be prepared. Download Montlick Mobile today, a public service of Montlick & Associates.